So, family, um, welcome to I almost say Wisdom Wednesday. It's been a while since I uploaded a Wisdom Wednesday, but today actually is Wednesday. So, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. And today I'll be talking about how to manifest at super high levels. This is just the basics, though. There's a lot of aspects to it, like chaos magic and things of this nature that I don't really get into, and like imagination magic, which is chaos magic. you know, all magic is chaos magic, but people want to have distinctions like this. You gotta adhere to the strict ritual. This is how you do this ritual. But that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is law of attraction, manifestation, and how to do it at a high level. And I explain it with this presentation that I have for you guys right here. Right? Oh shit. Y'all aren't supposed to see that. But here we go. So guys, welcome to my well, let me get my cover out the way. I've been cooped up all day working on this. So but welcome to my presentation, High Level Alchemy. Your host Elijah or Young OG. My socials is on IG I am Young OG 55. My Facebook and YouTube are Mystery School of Life. And my TikTok is a little complicated. It looks weird when you actually look on TikTok, but just Google, not Google, but search up question the answer A on there. But before we get into this presentation, I'd like for y'all all to use y'all discernment. Because all information stated is told from my personal perspective, experience, and knowledge that I've gathered over time. So use your discernment because not everyone has the same perspective. You never know. You just want to not take anything as your personal truth. You want to use critical thinking and not just, absorb just everything that comes your way. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this presentation. So, the foundation of manifestation actually comes from the power of cycles. The foundation of manifestation is the law of vibration, which operates off cycles. This means all phenomenon that can be perceived will have an expansion and contraction, a sort of breath. For instance, this applies to the physical because all, even particles or whatever, exhibit a wave nature if you look at them like a microscope or whatever. But this also applies to the fourth dimension of imagination, the dream world, and stuff like that. Um, so I'll explain it like this also. Because most people see waves as a 2D, like up and down motion, like it goes from one side to the other, linear motion, most people fail to realize that we don't live in a 2D space, we live in a 3D space. So metaphorically, instead of a pebble dropping and only splashing the surface of the water, reality creates waves in all directions at the same time in an outward motion, as if someone set off an explosion underwater. Every part of the universe adheres to this divine law, from atoms and electromagnetic forces, seasonal cycles of the earth or Gaia, where the epoch of in and out breaths are shown in winter and summer. Winter being the out breath, the release, the cleansing phase or releasing phase of the earth, and the summer being the in breath, where in where the earth has breathed all life back into plants, and it's like the trees are green, the sky is nice and hot. You know what I'm saying? So from the microcosm to the macrocosm, the cycles in the law of vibration is universal, as above, so below, as within, so without. And the point of this entire presentation is focusing on the as within, so without principle, because everything that we create is going to have these cyclical effects on ourselves and our reality as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the magic. Now, utilizing the power of waves is the nature of manifestation, as I just stated previously, and the basis of the magical process in this presentation. Let's investigate how to utilize the mind to create waves for the purpose of manifestation. First is setting the intention of what outcome you want. Then embody the you that has what you want, because you want to time travel energetically to resonate with the reality you want. Next is to reinforce manifestation through affirmation, visualization, and really believing what you want can come true. Because if you disbelieve it, that muddles the energy. Aleister Crowley said, and he's like a magician from back in the day. Aleister Crowley said, the best thing to do when you're trying to do magic is do magic and forget about it. That's because once you like keep thinking about it, you keep running it through your mind, you start to doubt it, you start to question it, and that muddles the energy, the original intention that you set. First is being aware of what you want. Next is setting the intention that you want that, and the intention is a sort of magnetization. It's a sort of magnetization towards you. You're basically saying to the universe, when you put your focus on something, in even in your mind, it's basically showing the universe that you want that outcome. That's why it's not good to, what's the saying where it's like, don't resist what you don't want, or something like that. It's like the more you resist, the more you attract. You're putting attention on something. That's why instead of resisting, you have to let go. Let's say if you want to do shadow work, you don't resist something that's already in the past. It's only in your mind. Traumatic experiences happen in the present, but what makes them traumatic is you repeating them in your mind. Instead of resisting that, and instead of playing the victim mentality game, you just release it. Release it, you throw it in the trash. And that's the basic science of it. And I also wanted to explain what I mean by time travel. I don't mean actual time travel. I mean, like, let's say, for instance, you want to be an entrepreneur, right? Or a businessman, a businesswoman. First, you'd want to visualize what you would do as an entrepreneur. Imagine yourself in that entrepreneurial role. It's going to have a certain vibe to it. You can just feel it inside yourself. You're basically taking the reality you want and you're energetically matching that reality. So you're kind of time traveling, especially if you really want to manifest this. This is the reality that you want, then you got to believe it. So from your perspective, this is where I'm going to be. I'm just matching that. So it's only a natural kind of avalanche effect of, yeah, I see it, but I believe it. So I know that's my reality. You have to look at your manifestations as if they already have come true. It's the same thing I'm stating here. And that's the basis of manifestation. Um, but now the true science here comes from the ability to magnify your manifestations on a massive scale. And this is the next step. After knowing what you want, you have to realize the forces around you that can give your manifestation a boost or amplification. For example, the ancients would do certain festivals and rituals at certain times of the season, winter, summer, spring, whatever. Or look at the astrology, the astrological weather or astrological signs and things of that nature, and plan what ritual to do. There's Oktoberfest, the occult side of it, because there's a mundane and occult side. May Day, Midsummer. I'm not gonna even get into the satanic Masonic rituals that go on in Hollywood. Cough, cough, the Royal Palace. You know what I'm saying? But they do exist and are planned based off of greater cycles and what they alone can generate. So yeah, it's good to do your own rituals or whatever whenever you feel like it, but you can kind of ride the wave of the cycles of Earth if you do certain rituals at certain times. This also could be astrology signs. Like if it's well, I'll get into another point later actually. Um, and this is why I call it waves within waves. You're utilizing greater cycles to increase the cycle that you. It's like that basically. It's because you basically have a massive wave already, and your tiny wave is catching the tides of the big wave, and overall, both waves combine and get larger. This is even apparent in classical physics, where even if you go to the ocean and watch as waves get bigger at high tide, it's because a sort of stacking effect that can also apply to the waves of the spirit realm. You feel me? And that takes us into the mystical power of the moon and using the waves of the moon for your manifestation. So the moon physically, even on a physical level, as above so below, as within so without, controls the tides of the oceans. That's why we have high and low tide. But also controls the tides of spiritual energy. That's why people may get more sensitive and emotional during the full moon. So by looking at the astrological sign the moon is in will determine the type of wave the moon is producing. And by starting an intention and ritual as the full moon is coming into full effect, you could surf the wave of the moon just like a surfer on a massive wave, making your manifestation massively more powerful. Because now your manifestation is not just riding your wave, but the wave of the moon. So let's say like you got your little wave right here and you catch the moon's wave. Let's say you stop your ritual. Your ritual is now riding the bigger wave and it's going to carry that manifestation for a longer period of time. But here's where I want to get into my first kind of point of all right, here's the negative that's possible here. Yeah, like the surfer wave, you feel me? This is the physical aspect. But we're more like Silver Surfer. We serve cosmic energies and astrological energies. But since this is a spiritual phenomenon, there are some aspects of this that do deserve your attention in the terms of in the meaning that there are like not really dangers, but you need to be careful with what you're doing. For instance, lunacy or like lunatics. You feel me? Like lunacy comes about when one works with mystical energy or the moon and subconsciously holds a position that compromises integrity, such as self-doubt, self-loathing, addiction, or any other effect of energetic intention and attachment that leads to mental illness. That leads to mental illness. And mental illness is just a wave of negative energies that don't serve the individual, but through belief that this ease has power over you, empowers the disharmony to grow and fester in one's mind. The more you believe that a mental illness has power over you, the more energy you give it. Because you're basically saying, you have power over me. You're basically giving a negative energy power over you. You're basically putting your own chains on. Like in tarot, the devil card, like you can tell by the classical devil card, you have the two individuals and the devil with the chains on them. But the chains are so loose they can pull them off anytime. These are self-imposed chains. One can take off at any time. And this kind of giving away of power decreases one's light quotient, basically dimming your aura, creating a more foggy aura. In the case of mystical energy, it is like having a at first neutral fog or cloud around you. Like let's say you were working with the energy of the moon, you tapped into the moon's energy. It's like a fog around you that you can charge with your intention, right? Like having a neutral fog or cloud around, but it's charged by the energy you magnetize consciously and unconsciously. Therefore, lunacy comes about when you call upon the moon and other mystical energies, and you still have subconscious negative beliefs that get manifested even without your conscious consent. Which, since you're not aware of this effect, you may manifest energies outside of your immediate awareness. Therefore, some people go crazy when doing higher magic. There are a lot of magicians, even like Aleister Crowley. He's well known for going crazy later in his life. Because when you don't do shadow work, when you're not healing, when you're not going within, as you continue to do magic and it's kind of a stacking effect, you sort of lose your mind because you're manifesting. You're using the power of the moon. That shit is powerful. It magnifies whatever energy you work with it with. But just like this tarot card, this is actually in my tarot. Just like this tarot card here and the moon energy, I'll explain it. So in this is Pisces energy, moon. This shows two mermaids moving in opposite directions. This shows one of these mermaids is moving into the conscious realm, and one of these mermaids is moving into the subconscious realm, showing the duality and polarity of the conscious and subconscious mind. And this is correlated with the moon, mystical energy, or yesod on the tree of life. So when you're working with this energy, it manifests both conscious energy and subconscious energy. And that's what I mean here by some people go crazy based off their subconscious beliefs. It's extremely important to be careful and know what goes on in the realm of higher magic. You feel me? Magic ain't all fun and games when you're not healing. You feel me? Um, I think I pretty much said everything when it comes to working with the moon and other mystical energies. Now, the moon isn't the only celestial body that has mainly been used for manifestation because there are a lot of sun cults. There were a lot of sun cults in the ancient times. There were also a lot of moon cults, but specifically for the sun one, um, we have. I'll use the example of the ancient Egyptians. Like they had a god called Amun Ra, the hidden sun. Why? They discovered this spiritual phenomenon because everything they figured out that everything has a spiritual essence. That's why the Greeks looked to the planets and assigned personalities with them because their essence had a certain subtle energy signature. You have within you, you also have within you Amun Ra, or the inner slash black sun within you, and tapping into the energy within you and meditating on the sun within and without will generate feelings and vibrations that will massively boost your vitality and in combination with manifestation can bring about great change in the reality. So just as you could tap into the mystical energy of the moon, you could tap in with the vital energy of the sun. Like in ancient Egyptian art, they would show the sun and they would show like Ankh. I don't have my Ankh on right now, but they would show like the sun rays of the sun with like they would show the sun rays of the sun as like long hands and it's passing down the ankh to like let's say the priest or Horus or something like that. That's because the sun is giving off a vital energy that you could tap into in meditation. You could use this for your manifestation. Now, in terms of the inner sun, the solar plexus chakra, you know what I'm saying? For instance, there's also a radiance coming from your heart chakra. Well, I said that wrong. There's also a radiance coming from your heart chakra, but for the sake of manifestation, the solar plexus is where it's at because it's the seat of the self. When you imagine your ideal self in your ideal circumstance and focus on your solar plexus while you do it, you change your personality because it's the seat of yourself. You change your personality now to match the future you that you want to see, which is basically what I call real life time travel, as I talked about earlier. The solar plexus is also associated with the element gold, the most key element in classical alchemy. If you want to alchemize your current circumstance, look to your solar plexus to give your ideal self a chance. That's just a little riddle. You feel me? But it really does have some truth to it. Because let's say, for instance, you want to be that entrepreneur, you would set the intention in accordance and in conjunction with the seat of yourself, your personality, your solar plexus chakra. So you could quickly change your reality. And now, instead of acting like however you were before, you set the intention to be an entrepreneur or artist or whatever you want to be, a singer, whatever, writer, a good speaker, for instance. You imagine the energy of a good speaker, writer, or whatever, and combine it with your solar plexus energy. And now your personality is alchemizing to align with that ideal. But here's another disclaimer: inner source alignment is key when on this process of embodying new energies, new selves, right? Like, I know we talked about a lot here, but before you manifest a single thing, first you must be in alignment with your ideal self to see what is it your reality, what in your reality you really want. Like, is that job what you really want to manifest? Is that really gonna benefit you in the long run? Is that boyfriend or girlfriend really the one for you? Or is being an entrepreneur really going to satisfy you? Or are you looking for a superficial status to flex with? These are all important questions because you don't want to bring something into your life and then regret it. So meditate long and hard and say, is this really what I want? Or is this where I'll be my happiest? For instance, let's say you want to be an entrepreneur. Like, am I going to be the most happy being that? Am I going to be the most happy being with this person? Am I going to be the most happy with this kind of money? Or whatever it is in your life. But with that all out of the way, if you if you run what you want to manifest through your inner barometer of truth, if you really meditate on it and it really resonates with your inner source, your inner light, your own almond raw, then you can enjoy energizing and magnetizing. You know. So that's the end of the slideshow. You guys enjoyed, leave a comment, thumbs up, share with somebody you know who is into the law of attraction and manifestation. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.